We're back to the Beach Lifestyle Radio Network, powered by Simply G Radio Network. Total-tutor.net for more information. Twitter, Total-tutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook. And I'm excited about LinkedIn, how I connect with athletes, especially successful Major League Baseball players. And this guy, I tell you, when he played for the Phillies, he was impressive, and also the Red Sox. So I want to welcome to the program celebrity baseball player Wes Chamberlain. Wes, thanks for calling.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
We're excited to talk with you, especially, and it's so interesting to talk to former Major League Baseball players and learning about how they became baseball players, or any of the athletes, and then after that, how life after. Because a lot of times, Wes, what we don't discuss a lot of times when we interview former athletes is life after. All we want to do is live in the past. But we have to understand that our careers, our first careers in sports, all ultimately lead to what we do today. Wouldn't you agree, Wes?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you probably say that, but I mean, being a former athlete, being a former professional athlete, we take very different paths. So. I mean, if I'm agree with something, I go 100%. So I say I agree with it. I say I agree to disagree with that.
Okay, so I would say life. Let me give you an example, Wes. I'm a former professional wrestler for 9 years, turned school teacher, started my own podcast, and then started interviewing celebrities, and it's changed to a huge radio network. So in a lot of ways, life lessons in pro wrestling have taught me success. Life after wrestling. That's what I mean in baseball, or life after football, or life after hockey. That a lot of your skill set that, catapulted you to being a successful professional athlete you use today in your careers. And I think that many of the athletes do that. And through their stories, we find those things out. So I'm glad you agree to disagree, but we'll see at the end of the interview if you agree with me after the questions I'll ask. So, Wes, basically, did you want to be a baseball player your whole life? Was this something when you were a kid you wanted to play baseball?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I did. That started after I went to my first Chicago White Sox game at Comiskey Park when I was about 4 years old, and my older brothers, they used to babysit me, and it was that day. And I mean, I remember it like yesterday. And it was like, that was it. I seen it. I got to Comiskey Park. We got there early. We got our bats. We're walking down. We're trying to get autographs, and all I could say was, wow, look at this field. That's awesome, man. Wow. And it was like, man, I want to be down there. I want to do that. And I asked one of my brothers, I was like, man, can I do that? They was like, yeah, man, you can do that. And it was like, yeah, that's what I want to do, man, when I grow up. And, I mean, it's just like I fell in love at first sight. I mean, with just being in that type of atmosphere and that stadium, and around all those people and seeing these players, I mean, it's like, wow, I want to do that. And that's exactly what I knew what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Absolutely, and that's not always the story. Wes, I had George Hamilton on my show already today, and George talked about he never wanted to be an actor, and the man's still acting in 74, so it's age to 74. So it's very interesting. So from that process, you said, now I got to practice, now I got to be motivated. I want to be on that field someday. So tell us specifically your game plan, especially at a young age, of how you really were dedicated to baseball.
Well, see, that's exactly how I put it in the book. I mean, I know I'm probably jumping ahead, but that's what my biography is about. So it's wow. How can I explain it more? I mean, with that, there is a work to come to it. I mean, you find something you like, and you got to learn how to obtain it. But being 4 years old, 5 years old, I mean, man, you can't even explain that at the time. So, you have to really sit down and kind of analyze it and go back and try to be so intellectual, but you want to just be honest and you want to be forthright with saying that. So I was able to do that with writing my book. Like I said, I'm not, I'm sorry for probably jumping ahead, but
that's okay.
That kind of like, just leads up. That question leads right to the book because my book is like a 3-part story of my life. So there's the first, the second part, and the third. So I mean, and with that, like you said, with George, with Hamilton, I'm growing up watching him on television, so I can definitely understand about different facets of life because, knowing that you want to be an athlete, knowing that you want to play professional baseball, but not knowing the roles that you have to take, not knowing what you have to go through to get there. I mean, you can't even explain that when you're coming up in the adolescent years and then the teen years.
Exactly. And it's very interesting you're talking about in the book. I guess a lot of these guys I bring on, they haven't done interviews, Wes, hardly ever in like 15 years. And I always like telling stories because the fact is as a wrestler, I was a storyteller, but also in life is all about stories. And in education, as a school teacher, we want to learn about their backgrounds. We know I know kids all the time that they have a dream. They have something that they truly want to do. And so in your book, we'll find more about that situation. So basically, through that process of persevering and playing baseball, when did people start believing in your dream? What age did they finally say, "Hey, Wes, you're going to be in the major leagues"? Did anyone have that thought process, and let's say in middle school or high school, that you are definitely going to be a major leaguer?
Well, I had that word spoken to me in my senior year of high school when the Pittsburgh Pirates, Bill Brick, the scout, and he's still in baseball right now. I believe he's assistant general manager to the Arizona Diamondbacks today, and I've known him since 1983. Ever since he came out and started scouting, he was a scout with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they had them exact words what you said. When did that word come out? Well, it was like you have an opportunity, in this game of baseball, to become a major leaguer, and that was when they took Tim. Gene Baker, he's deceased, but he was the van scout. He was the guy that came out and approved the scouts scouting report card, and they took me and my mom out to dinner, and they was like very interested. I mean, and with me and a couple of my teammates at that time, and so. When they made it official, I've also ran across Jerry Krause. I got to know him personally myself because he's with the White Sox, and those two gentlemen, we had dinner. We wound up having dinner with not Jerry Krause because I was so nervous and so scared. I thought that he was going to make me sign a contract. I didn't show up. I didn't show up, and I did it because my mom was at work, and he was coming by, and he came by the house to pick me up, and I was just figuring like, this guy's going to make me sign a contract without my mom, and I'm like, I bailed on him, so. But I did. I was able to call back, and like I'm saying, with all honesty and with everything that my mom and my grandparents taught me, you treat people how you want to be treated, So, and I was like, wow. So she said, you're going to call him back, and I'm going to speak to him, and we'll set up another meeting. So we were able to square that away, and he said, I can understand you're only 17, and, there's a lot of things going around in your life that's speeding up. And so with that, he accepted my apology, and we had another dinner with Mr. Jerry Krause. And, we've been friends, professional, associates, not on a regular basis, but we've known each other from that day forth. And getting back to Mr. Gene Baker and Bill Brick, we had the dinner since me and Krause had that smoothed over. The next appointment went very smooth with Mr. Gene Baker and Bill Brick. And my mom, spoke and gathered all the information that she needed and everything. And so she told me, that, if these people, they're saying that you're this good, and with all this stuff that's going around, she said, well, maybe you ought to just consider going to college first. And since they said that they can draft you 3 years later, maybe, she said, I believe that would be the wise decision. You'll be 3 years older, you'll be a young man, you'll be more mature, and if you're that good, then they'll wait for you. And I said, well, okay, Mom, if you feel that way, yes, ma'am. That's exactly my decision. And so, that was it.
You know what, Wes? I have to commend you. You listened to your mom. You would not make a decision, especially someone like Jerry Krause. You'd say, I'm not making a decision until I talk to my mom. And I'm sure that's definitely in your book. And I got to say, hey, you must have a great mom. Because, to say, I'm going to wait. Hey, I commend you for that for sure. And interesting to see and ask advice because we all need those people in our lives. We have all those role models, how we become successful in life, how we truly are shaped, and we mean, finally when that light bulb comes on. Wes, sometimes it's people at 50. Other people, it's just at this point, because I could see what you're able to share as an entrepreneur. Through this, just talking to you right now, will shape all my questions that I could ask you in the second segment, because I see this passion in you. I see this passion that you want what your mom was able to do for you to help others do and to see and to go through. So you go ahead, you get drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates, which I wish you were a Pirate, Wes. Ken, shout out to all our Pittsburgh listeners out there. We had Al Oliver on last week. It was talking about Roberto Clemente. It was such a tremendous thing. Now, Wes, so basically you get drafted by the Pirates, and as your mom said, it's going to take a couple of years. So finally you go to the Phillies and you get your big break. How does it feel?
Oh, man, I mean, it's like, wow, is this true? I mean, it was like, yeah, that's how it was. I mean, because we were, I was in AAA, and that was the first Major League Baseball strike that I ever been in, so I was locked out of spring training. And, the year just didn't start off good. That was my first time on the roster. A lot of negotiating, a lot of contracts, a lot of union stuff, a whole lot of things that first time everything that was part of my, that I was being introduced to for the first time in a part of my life, all the labor negotiation things. And so now it's like not being just a player, but now you got to learn these technical things, these rules of dealing with, owners and agents and then the union and picking a side. And I mean, just really becoming a young man. So, I mean, it was wild and excitement to, finally to get to the major leagues. Because you just want to get there, and you just want to, you want this thing to happen, man, because, you're down here, and it's a million guys. I mean, it's not a million,
Yeah, I hear you.
But it's like a billion guys, we all got the same dream. We all got the same goal, and, the realization that set in that, hey, it's not going to happen for everybody, So, the thing is, it's a dog-eat-dog situation that you really have to bear knuckle down and get after it and put your hat and tie your shoes on and get after it, man. I mean, sometimes you just got to kick your shoes off and just scrap and go for it, bite, scratch, kick, claw. It's a fight.
Exactly.
It's a fight. Yeah, it's really a fight. So. And
Wes, right off the bat, you made a difference with the Phillies. And I think that's what led to your other contract with Boston as well, that first year, absolutely, you played at a high level and you were on a great team, and it must have been a blast to be a rookie and to be performing that well. I'm sure you remember that as one of your greatest memories, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I really can't explain it. I mean, just feeling like, wow, if I'd have been up earlier, maybe I could have won. I mean, the guys who I finished fourth and fifth in the Rookie of the Year ballot, and they was there all year, and I had just the same amount of numbers, I mean, that's just, that's all, you, like you say, you have your experiences and you always ponder them. And I mean, you always say, man, if I could have, would have, should have, that's what folks always say. They had a song, somebody wrote a song about that. I think Lou Rawls. If I could have, would have, should have. That's what folks always say. And so, I'm not a person that live in the past, but like you say, you learn from past experience and you kind of like, use that as a tool, as a mentor, as a motivational thing, and as a testament. And that's the same thing as what my life story is about.
Exactly.
In the book. Yes.
Well, Wes, I hope that I get the chance to review the book and check it out. And then we have you back for more talking with Wes Chamberlain about his career. But we could go to the career later. Like I said, when we get back, it's life after baseball. I'll just clue the fans in. You had a 6-year career in baseball. A lot of people, it's kind of like even like the NFL, what we call the not for long league, the major league. It's the same thing. Just because you went up to the majors doesn't mean you're going to stay long. And you had a successful career. But let's talk about how you capitalized. And this is what I'm talking about. And maybe you'll start to think this more. You capitalized off of your success of your career to life after. I see this all the time, Wes. I see so many athletes who I'm connecting with on LinkedIn, the heads up to that, and that, after their career, successful career, they take those life lessons in baseball or football or hockey or soccer or professional wrestling and take them to the game of life. When we get back, we'll find more about that. You're listening to the Beach Lifestyle Radio Network on Simply G, and we'll be back in just a moment. We're back to the Beach Lifestyle Radio Show on the Simply G Radio Network, also the Total Education Network. You go to totaltutor.net, Twitter, Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook, and I'm having a blast talking to Wes Chamberlain. And it's a heads up to people out there. Wes talks about never giving up, and a lot of his talks, as we're going to find out, we can tell how much of a motivational speaker he is. And he dealt with adversity, but he just kept persevering, and he had that life dream. Well, in my radio career now, I have that life dream. I said, I'm going to interview the biggest superstars in the world, and I'm not going to be afraid to ask people. Because the word, and I think, Wes, you probably teach your kids and your children and also your child the same life lesson that ultimately you can't let people say no. You got to keep persevering. Am I correct?
Yes, I agree 100%. Yes.
So, okay, life after baseball. What are you going to do? Your career's over. What were you thinking of doing, and where are you today?
Well, I've always wanted to be my own businessman. I've always wanted my own business. So when I went to college, I took up business administrators, and so I was looking through business, and I was just analyzing. I was like, no, I said I want to be an owner. I said I'm a white collar worker. I was like, forget that. I came through and did all that stuff. I said, but you have to learn, in order to be that type of white-collar worker, you got to start from the bottom up. And I was like, wow, yeah, you got to be down there with the people, and in business, in order to get out of people, you have to be able to treat people fair and be right with people. Look them in the eyes and talk to them and shake their hands, tell them the truth, even if they don't want to hear it. But, I mean, hey, I've learned that. And then as a Christian man, a God-fearing man, and just, and I just keep the practice. I keep the biblical word close to my heart, and keep the scriptures just on a daily walk, Neil, and I live word to word, and hey, I'm not a person that's just a hear, but I'm a doer by that word, and, and God and Jesus Christ is my witness, so, I put that practice in the work, and I just keep perseverance with it, because the race is not given to the swift, neither to the strong, but to the one that endure it. And, you have to have perseverance in your life. So, with that being said, I never, gave up, and after the career, I wanted to go into coaching, and it just seemed like at the time while I was playing, I had opportunities to coach, but I wasn't ready to turn the page. And so then when I was finally ready to turn the page, it just seemed like the doors weren't open. So there was another fight, a new chapter in my life, So my little motto is that having success and continuing success after one career, but continuing in life. So now I'm on a new career. The new career is being an entrepreneur. So you say, well, what are you doing, Wes? Well, I get private lessons. And so now I'm able to train girls and boys with baseball and softball, one-on-one, but also give lifelong lessons along the way while I'm talking to them, carrying them and keeping it positive, just letting them know. If you're going to have one person in your corner, you can do and be successful in life. Whenever you hear no, just block it out and say, okay, it might not be open right now, but tomorrow or down the week, down the road, it might be. And so with that being said, that's what I'm doing as being a private instructor and then being a first-time author.
Well, Wes, when you're talking about private instructing, in a lot of ways, I'm sure that lots of former Major League Baseball players are not that close that you could get up close and personal, especially get private lessons from. So I'm sure when you got in this business as an entrepreneur, there aren't many people out there doing what you're doing that had a successful baseball career like yours. So I'm sure people are like, wow, I want to learn from someone like him.
Yeah, and then you get the up-and-close personal attitude with people. The first thing they say, well, you can't teach it all. Or you do this or you do that, and it's like there's new naysayers. You know what I mean? There's new haters. So when you go into business, you got to have what they say, thick skin.
You got it.
But I don't say. I'm like, hey, I put my eyes forward. and I put the blinds over my ears, and like I say, hey, when I hear the word no, that just makes me that makes me quiet. It makes me be so quiet to where the next thing I say, well, Lord, give me a word to say to this person. Or if the best word sometimes is just not being able to say anything. That's the best answer. Sometimes just don't say anything, because sometimes a quiet, a soft rap just a soft answer turns away wrath. So sometimes it's best off not saying anything.
Exactly. And again, did you have experience working with young people like this, or was this a process?
It's not with the kids. It's the parents, because they're the customers.
In my tutoring consulting company, I know that, Wes. Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. So the thing is that, hey, you're trying to build and establish your business, so you need that service in order to get your business going off the ground. So that's what I'm saying. You can look them right in the eye. Sometimes you can smile. Sometimes you can just give them what I call a gas face. You just give them no expression.
You crack up probably when parents tell you they think they know more about baseball than you, right? That's got to be the funniest thing. Come on now. Did you play? And where are you living right now, Wes? By the way, where's your business at?
I'm living in the South Chicago suburb. In Homewood, Illinois.
Okay, so when people were saying, "Oh yeah, Wes, I know what I'm talking about," say, "Did you play in Wrigley Field?" That's the first thing you say. Or you play in Comiskey Park or wherever. These guys didn't.
Well, basically, the parents themselves kind of like answer for me. Because some of the people me, like I said, I'm the person. I'm a talkative person. I like sharing wisdom. I like communicating with people, but I like talking about facts. I don't like having a long conversation. I'm not with the drawn out things, but I will listen because we're all different. So I'll give you that much respect. To hear you out. I'll hear you thoroughly. That's another thing in your upbringing. Always hear a person out. But as we get to know each other, there comes a process of, come on, you need to get to the point. Speed it up. Sometimes, like doing an interview. You can't tell it off.
Hey, and then but Wes, you're very good talking points. So I'll definitely say there's some athletes that'll talk for 15 straight minutes each question, and we're sitting here sometimes my co-host and I and saying, are we ever going to talk? Because you see, I asked the right questions after this. So now you're successful at doing this. What made you want to write the book? Again, because, I like so far just talking to you. And I'm sure your book is going to be very interesting because it's very inspiring to people, especially when you talk about at an age of 5 saying, you know what, I want to be a Major League Baseball player. I want to be there. So what made you want to write the book?
Well, just an elaborative conversation with people. Hey, you should write a book. Like I said, I'm a storyteller, and every time I get to telling some incidents, I've always referred back to myself. I've learned that from my late pastor, Angie Ray. As she would preach the word, she would say the best example that you could share with someone is telling your testimony, talking about yourself, because people are so easily offended when they feel that you have information. They feel that you're sharing their information that was told to you in secrecy. But if you're talking about yourself and you're telling the truth and you're making your life an open book, then, no one can be offended.
Absolutely.
So with that, yes. So with that, telling my stories and telling my experience in life, what I've done in baseball and how I've lived, and then it's like, well, wow, yeah, I can, this is what I've always wanted to do. Now this is what I do. I use my status that I've earned in life and, earn a living. And that's exactly what made me step forward to say, okay, yeah. Because somebody got to do it. I either tell you or go tell a published company, they make money and give me a little bit, but why not do it myself and learn how to write it and, use my own biography and then continue writing.
Exactly. So, and I can tell I can see you as a motivational speaker as well, Wes. So I think this is in your future. I think it's in your future, man. I really am inspired by you. And like I said, your stories are fantastic. You'll see from the book, you got to go out and do talks. We'll have to stay in touch. When did you launch the book? When did you, is the book out yet? Can people purchase it?
Well, yeah, I put it on Amazon. I've done a low budget, little way. I've learned from that experience about, investing in a whole lot of things. But I learned from my book coach. Her name is Judy Cullers. I picked up her book on how to write, writing your own book, which is 100 pages or less. And so, like I said, I read it like a 5-year-old. Just sat there, got all the instructions, followed it to the letter, and like she said, you can be done with the book in 3 months, 6 months, whatever, and exactly like how, she wrote it out, and I was like, wow, I was done with it. But due to, with my children, I had a son going off to college, just waited a little bit, got him squared away, and then I was able to get back and publish it right in August. So August 14th, I put it at Amazon.com. I learned their way of publishing for no charge, and it was, everything is just, I've become very frugal now, so not having the money that you used to have in the past and not making that money, just learning how to be frugal and make money and save more money, kind of like how I was before I even made it to the major leagues, which is a blessing.
Well, Wes, absolutely, and I think it's fantastic, again, that you have your book out, but I'm telling you what's going to come from this, especially this interview. Make sure you get this interview out to your followers and fans and different things, is that you can branch this out to you are a brand, Wes, and that you could go out and especially talk to people about how you became a Major League Baseball player, how you use that to become an entrepreneur, and give them life lessons, because you're definitely a great teacher that can inspire people. So, Wes, do you have a place where we can find information on you as well? Like a website?
Well, I have my website, theweschamberlain.com, THE, and that's just the website where it gives about where I'm giving the lessons and everything, and then the link to program, the link file, it just has some more information. LinkedIn, it just has some information about my book. And I do a little tweet, and that's it. I've never done Facebook. They've encouraged me, but I had a person who tried to do some identity theft with the Facebook, so I haven't been on Facebook.
Well, Wes, best of luck with the book. We'll definitely stay in touch. I want to bring you back in a couple months to talk about just the days of the Phillies and some of your experiences, especially with that awesome team. So thanks again for calling.
Well, thank you for having me, Neil.
All right, take care, Wes. I'll see ya. Okay, bye-bye. All right, you're listening to the Total Education Celebrity Show, powered by the Beach Lifestyle Radio Network on the Simply G Radio Network, and we'll be back in just a moment.